Let's get right to the latest, though, on the coronavirus, including this breaking news overnight. Wisconsin's Supreme Court struck down the state's stay-at-home order, which immediately cleared the way for businesses, bars, and restaurants to reopen. And Hoda, they did.
Yeah, they sure did. The city of New Orleans will begin easing restrictions this weekend, with places like gyms, movie theaters, beauty salons all allowed to reopen, but with safety precautions in place, Savannah.
In the meantime, the whistleblower who claims he was pressured by the White House to back ineffective coronavirus treatments for political reasons is set to come before Congress today and testify.
And as we begin our coverage, worldwide deaths from COVID-19 nearing 300,000, the most 85,000 right here in the United States. Let's get things started with NBC's Joe Fryer and that surprising move in Wisconsin overnight. Hey, Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Hoda. It's becoming clear the rules vary greatly depending on where you live in the U.S. Here in California, they're reopening at a much slower rate than many other states. Well, in Wisconsin overnight, the restrictions there appear to have come to an immediate end with a court ruling.
Overnight, Wisconsin back open for business. The state Supreme Court striking down an emergency stay-at-home order there, calling it unlawful, invalid, and unenforceable, and a vast seizure of power.
Cheers!
Some residents there already flocking to bars.
We got to get in and have a first drink.
We're the Wild West.
Wisconsin's governor reacting overnight on MSNBC.
There's nothing that's compelling people to do anything other than having chaos here. We're going to have more cases. We're going to have more deaths. And it's a sad occasion for the state. I can't tell you how disappointed I am.
It comes amid another major reopening milestone in Los Angeles County, where the iconic beaches are no longer off limits, just no sunbathing or picnics allowed.
It's great. It's like beautiful weather and everybody's doing a good job keeping the distance.
But what comes next is less certain. The county's public health director created a stir Tuesday when she said the stay-at-home order could be extended 3 months.
I also want to start by apologizing for the confusion I inadvertently created yesterday.
Wednesday, she clarified that some restrictions will be gradually loosened in that time.
So no, we won't be shut down for 3 more months. That's not what I heard. That's not what I expect. That's not what I hope.
But in some other parts of the state, more businesses can reopen, including dine-in restaurants.
One thing that I recognize, one size does not fit all.
Governor Newsom has released new guidance for eateries, including disposable menus, keeping tables 6 feet apart, and face coverings for employees and diners. So far, only 18 counties, mostly rural ones, meet California's criteria for that next stage of reopening. And when people do venture outside in Los Angeles, they're facing a new requirement. The mayor now says face coverings are required outside of the house. The county says that includes the beach when you're out of the water and near others.
L.A. County announced it's extending its stay-at-home order with no end date given. Some restrictions are being eased, but the message is still folks should stay at home as much as possible. Savannah?
All right, Joe, thank you. And also this morning, the president is making the case for the reopening of schools and businesses, despite this week's warning to Congress from Dr. Anthony Fauci on moving too quickly. NBC's White House correspondent Peter Alexander's got the latest on all of that. Peter, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. President Trump today heads to Pennsylvania to visit a factory producing personal protective equipment. It follows his public criticism of Dr. Anthony Fauci after Fauci called for caution as America reopens. And it comes as that top government scientist, Dr. Rick Bright, prepares to testify today that it's, in his words, painfully clear the U.S. was not as prepared for the coronavirus pandemic as it should have been.
This morning, President Trump is rejecting a warning from the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, that reopening the country prematurely could lead to more death.
Dr. Fauci yesterday was a little cautious on reopening the economy too soon. Do you share his concern?
About reopening what?
Reopening the economy too soon, some states.
Look, he wants to play all sides of the equation.
When you say Dr. Fauci is playing both sides, are you suggesting that the advice he's giving to you is
I was surprised by his answer, actually, because, it's just To me, it's not an acceptable answer, especially when it comes to schools.
During Tuesday's Senate hearing, Dr. Fauci did not comment about whether schools would or should reopen, instead commenting that students returning to class in the fall likely would not have a coronavirus vaccine or treatment available to them by then.
We just have to see on a step-by-step basis as we get into the period of time with the fall about reopening the schools, exactly where we will be in the dynamics of the outbreak.
The president, for his part, insisting kids should be back in the classroom.
Oh, I think they should open the schools, absolutely.
President Trump also addressing how he and Vice President Pence are staying apart from one another after 2 White House staffers tested positive for the virus, including Pence's press secretary.
I haven't seen Mike Pence, and I miss him.
It comes as Dr. Rick Bright, the government scientist recently forced out as head of the agency searching for a vaccine, is set to testify before Congress this morning. He's expected to tell a House committee that the U.S. faces the darkest winter in modern history if it does not come up with a comprehensive national plan to combat the virus.
And in his testimony, Dr. Bright, according to his prepared remarks, will warn our window of opportunity is closing, arguing if we fail to develop a national response now, the pandemic will get far worse, he says, causing unprecedented illness and fatalities. President Trump has dismissed Bright as a disgruntled employee, but Bright's lawyers say the Office of Special Counsel says it appears that Bright was retaliated against and should keep his job while it completes a full investigation. Hoda?
All right, Peter Alexander for us at the White House. Peter, thank you. Let's move now to the devastating toll on the economy and tens of millions of Americans now out of work. As the latest numbers are released this morning, there is a new warning about the potential for even more damage. NBC's Tom Costello has our report. Hey, Tom, good morning.
Hi, Hoda. Good morning. Here in Washington, the mayor has just extended the stay-at-home order until June 8th for all non-essential businesses. The Labor Department this morning will report the latest numbers, how many people filed for unemployment last week. Millions more expected to have filed. And now the chairman of the Federal Reserve, the nation's top central banker, is warning that the recovery from this economic downturn will be a long, drawn-out affair, the worst downturn, he says, since the end of World War II. The record number of Americans out of a job remains on the rise this morning. Experts forecasting the country will add another 2.5 million unemployed claims later this morning, bringing the total over the past couple of months to 36 million. Even as states begin phased-in returns to work, the Fed chief now says more action from Congress to stimulate the economy may be necessary to avoid long-term damage. Jerome Powell's blunt assessment sending stocks tumbling on Wednesday. House Democrats are hoping to vote on a new $3 trillion package. That includes money for state and local governments, extends unemployment benefits beyond July, along with new direct payments for American families. President Trump saying that's not going to happen.
DOA, right? Okay. DOA, dead on arrival.
Mr. President.
Of course, Nancy Pelosi knows that.
But in a bipartisan push, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan and New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo say the need is real, writing in a statement, each day that Congress fails to act, states are being forced to make cuts that will devastate the essential services the American people rely on and destroy the economic recovery before it even gets off the ground. New Jersey's governor says his state, which has been hit hard by the pandemic, lost more than $3 billion in revenue last month.
We cannot sustain a collapse of revenues without turning to unprecedented layoffs. Layoffs, by the way, of the very people we're relying upon the most.
Casinos are up and running in Oklahoma, but they're not betting on a rapid recovery.
It's going to take a while for us to get back to normal.
All this as our grocery habits are now starting to reflect the current economic situation. New market research shows cheaper store brands are now outpacing popular brands. And Americans are cutting back on splurges like snacks and even sodas.
Tom, we've seen a lot of states, more and more states really reopening over the past couple of weeks. So are businesses actually seeing improvement yet?
Yeah, the data would suggest it's just a very slow, small trickle of increased business in South Carolina, in Georgia, in Texas, for example. But listen, we just had a new number come out that is really jaw-dropping. A group of economists from Harvard, from University of Illinois, and University of Chicago now saying that we may have already lost 100,000 small businesses permanently, already gone. 100,000 And of course, this is still just proceeding to go on.
Wow, that is a stunning number. All right, Tom, thank you so much. Savannah, over to you.
Yeah, meanwhile, we've got breaking news overnight tied to that alleged case of insider trading as the coronavirus outbreak was just starting. It's against lawmakers on Capitol Hill. NBC's Justice correspondent Pete Williams joins us with this. Pete, good morning. What can you tell us?
Well, Savannah, federal officials have been looking into possible insider trading by members of the Senate since March, and now the fact that the FBI obtained a search warrant indicates that this investigation has entered a new phase. Law enforcement officials say the FBI served a search warrant Wednesday night at Senator Burr's home. They say it was part of an investigation into stock sales related to the coronavirus. The officials say Burr handed over a cell phone to the agents at his home in Washington. Federal authorities are investigating whether he used insider information to dump stocks that were hard hit by the plunging markets because of the coronavirus pandemic. He is chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, which received daily coronavirus briefings before the markets plummeted. Burr sold a significant percentage of his stock portfolio during the period when those briefings were taking place, up to $1.7 million worth. Much of it invested in businesses that were later hurt by the sharp market turndown. Senator Burr has repeatedly said he did not engage in insider trading and that the trades were made based on public information, not anything he learned in the private briefings. He's one of several senators from both parties who sold and bought stock ahead of the pandemic effect on the markets. Senator Burr's office has no comment this morning, but when these allegations first arose in March, he asked the Senate Ethics Committee to conduct a complete review, and he has pledged to cooperate in that and any other investigations. Savannah.
Oh, Pete, while I have you, there are new details on the criminal case against Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor in the Trump administration. There's been a decision by the judge to appoint a retired judge to look at whether or not the Justice Department should drop the charges. So how does this all play out? What does it mean for the case going forward?
Well, it's a sign that the judge is not going to let the Justice Department simply walk away from this case. He's appointed a retired federal judge to act as essentially a friend of the court, to come in and argue why the case should not be dropped after Flynn pleaded guilty and whether Flynn should be charged with committing perjury. Savannah.
All right, Pete Williams in Washington, thank you very much. 7:14, Hoda, back to you.
All right, Savannah, thanks. In other news this morning, evacuations are underway in southwest Florida due to 4 separate out-of-control wildfires. Officials were forced to shut down a 20-mile section of I-75 that's known as Alligator Alley. At least 30 homes are being threatened by fire. Crews are using their helicopters to drop water on the flames. At this point, though, no injuries have been reported.
All right, we've got some good news this morning for those of you headed out to the grocery store. Tyson Foods is cutting prices for some beef products that it sells to supermarkets and restaurants by up to 30%. That move comes in response to surging prices caused by virus outbreaks at meat packing plants. Tyson processes a fifth of the nation's beef. Wholesale prices for ground beef have topped $6 a pound, more than triple the cost at the beginning of March.
Here we go. Coming up on 7:16, and that's the time of day we like to check in with Mr. Roker, see what's happened. A little trouble in the tropics, Al?
Absolutely, Hoda. And in fact, those folks in Florida are going to get some relief from those wildfires, but not maybe the way they like it. Let's look. You can see right now we've got some disturbances right around the Bahamas. The National Hurricane Center says in the next 2 days, 10% chance of development, 70% over the next 5 days of subtropical development possible. We're going to be watching this development zone as we see a stationary front bring in showers and thunderstorms down through southern Florida. This stalled front near Cuba will develop a low pressure system over the Bahamas, heavy rain and wind for South Florida as that pushes to the north and east. We're going to be watching it. It may drift and intensify north on Saturday. Rough surf, I should say, and rip currents all along the Atlantic coast. Rainfall amounts will be anywhere from 4 to 5 inches, especially in southern and southeastern Florida. So we're going to be watching this system very closely over the next 72 hours.